Thanks for watching. If you like it, like and subscribe, please. If you don't like it, subscribe. Give us your comments. We appreciate it.
What's up, Wolverines? Welcome back to Blades Banner. We're excited to be here after a great win, going into a huge week. Big Ten faced off against Ohio State, faced off against Texas, and now we get to play Oklahoma back-to-back weeks. College football's here. We're getting great games every week, and I'm excited to talk to you about it, Coach. What'd you think about this week's games?
I thought it was a wonderful start for us. There were mistakes made, but we'll be able to coach off those mistakes. And of course, the old cliche about making your biggest improvement between your first and second game in a real way is true. Number one thing, the great anticipation was to watch Bryce Underwood. And in my estimation, he's better than advertised. He has extraordinary ability. He has a quick release. And he has a very strong arm. But the most important thing that a passing quarterback has to possess is accuracy. And I think he throws the ball accuracy. The only criticism I have on some of the short passes, that ball comes fast. And if he can take a little bit off it, it might make it easier to catch. But he showed leadership. And the thing I could see that he has is intensity. He's not happy when there's an incompletion or if he thinks he made a mistake or threw it to the wrong guy. He's self-correcting on the field.
Yeah.
But he remained calm and composed. It was remarkable for a guy who turned 18 a week ago. I mean, it was a remarkable performance, in my opinion, and he lived up to it.
He did everything that you told him he needed to do. He didn't try to win by the game by himself. He handed the ball off. He made smart passes. Some people, are the touch and stuff like this, but he was putting the ball on the money. He didn't float any balls. He was composed. He showed leadership. And then after the game, he gives himself a C. He said, "What do you grade yourself?" I think I got a C+ or something. And he played. I mean, as far as Michigan football goes, he played an unbelievable game. I mean, that's exactly what
he won. He won.
Yeah.
He led us to victory. Our total offense was over 450 yards.
Yep.
We were perfectly balanced. I think we rushed it 32 times and threw the ball 31. And in my estimation, the best offenses and the best teams have balanced offenses because you can't, you can't load up. And the one thing I will say this, and the coaches have to be wary of this. When you have a guy who throws the ball like that, you have a tendency to want to pass a lot. We cannot forget our identity. Michigan has to run the ball and be physical. If we do that, then it's going to open up all those lanes. The linebackers are going to have to react to run. Secondary is going to react to run. And then you're going to get big plays. So we have to so the tendency is when you have a guy that can throw that ball that well, you might want to throw it more than you probably should. And our culture is an overused word, but our mentality is we're going to run the ball. In the first two series, we ran the ball right down the field, and we controlled the line of scrimmage. And when you have the ball, the other team can't score. It's going to be important in the upcoming game that we possess the ball because they have a great passer, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so I think we got to continue to be physical. Justice Haynes showed the ability to break big plays, much like Donovan Edwards, but he's a better inline runner than Donovan, a stronger guy. And our other guy ran the ball well too. So we ran the ball. Well, we ran the ball for. Let me see here. Coach, we ran the ball for over close to 200 yards, and that's what we want.
You're preaching to the choir. If anybody wants to run the ball, it's me. Next week, I think Oklahoma gave over 4 yards a clip to the team they played. So they gave up over 4 yards a carry. They threw the
ball 37 times. They only rushed for 100 yards. 24 of those were Mateers. Their leading rusher, their tailback, gained 44 yards. So they're going to throw the ball. They are a throwing team.
Well,
that was the top kid in the portal, Mateer, and they're going to throw it.
Well, a couple things before we get there.
I'd like to go back to a couple things about us.
Yeah. Coach, we got to get back to the Big Ten. What happened in the Big Ten this weekend? We skipped that.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. Ohio State had a big victory down there, but I don't think either team. Now there were two really fine teams, but I don't think either team played up to their potential. Certainly, Manning had a very difficult game and struggled. I'm sure he's going to respond, but there were a lot of guys that were open, and he missed a lot of people. And on the basis of that, I thought they could have probably scored a few touchdowns. And then Ohio State, their kid went in and did a nice job saying, but I'm not trading our guy for their guy.
No.
But he's going to, now he was a number one quarterback in the country when he came out, but he had a good game. And that's a big victory for them, no matter how you add it up. Because when you have one loss this early in the year, when you look at the CFP, and this is Notre Dame's problem, who has Texas A&M and USC coming up, you have two. You have two losses. It's going to be very difficult to get into the college football playoff. So Texas is faced with that, and so is Notre Dame today. But most of the Big Ten teams really played well. Nebraska was winning convincingly, and then Cincinnati came back on them. But they won by 3 points, and they had a capacity crowd, as they usually do, in Lincoln, Nebraska. UCLA lost to a very good Utah team with their quarterback that they brought over from, who looked good, that they brought over from Tennessee, highly regarded, and who played in, if you remember, took them to the college football playoffs last year. But all in all, the Big Ten teams did what they were supposed to. They played well. And so the Big Ten looks like a strong conference. Penn State played well, but they won across the board. The only losses we had, Oregon did well. USC, who they think SC, they feel like they have the best team they've had in years. He's very high on this team.
Well, a crazy thing right now, Coach, is think about this: Dante Moore, Bryce Underwood, and CJ Carr, all from about 30 miles from each other. Michigan kids starting college in Division I, and that was one of the other thing I want to talk about. Just the weekend of people overreaction Monday. People are killing Arch Manning. Obviously he's never going to be any good. He's not any good. They shouldn't have rated him that high. That's what everyone's saying. And then,
well, he did not have his best outing, but I'm sure he'll respond. His last name is Manning.
But him,
they're not in our league. We wish them well. Notre Dame, they have A&M and USC. Now the rest of the teams, I think they match up well against, but they have a fine team. But CJ, I thought, played brilliantly, and I was excited for him and his family, and of course, always rooting for him.
Yeah.
But across the board, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the country.
But the kid at Oklahoma is a rookie. Ohio State's kid's a rookie. All these kids got a couple years.
Oklahoma was the number one kid in the portal. Now he came from Washington State, where he threw the ball up and down the field, across the street, and very successfully.
But yes, yeah, exactly. He came from Washington State, but I mean, rookie. I always forget because kids are transferring. But
now the kid at Washington is really outstanding quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he is good, the guy at Washington, and we got them down the way. So as you look around the league, there's a lot of great players out there, and many of them distinguish themselves. And so there's not going to be any easy ones that I see out there because Northwestern will rebound, and they'll be good by the time we get them deep in November. And of course, Ohio State, when you win like that, winning is contagious, and there's momentum to winning. And they have the right mentality down there, and they believe they're going to win, and they did. They prevailed against a very strong Texas team who played poorly, I thought.
And Coach, Matt Patricia, this is a great coach. People are acting like I love the guy that went to Penn State, but Matt Patricia at Ohio State, you should see some of the concepts he's doing. When he's got guys fake blitzing and then coming around and looping. He's got all these blitzes that we're also doing with Barnum, and the guys were executing at a high level. Like their defense played really well. Both defenses, Texas and Ohio State,
14-7. 14-7.
Yes.
And the Ohio State kid, they completed a long pass, and it was actually a double catch. He made a great play on it. He caught the ball twice and then fell into the end zone, and that was the difference. And we don't know if Arch Manning was hurt. I know that one of the things, and this is what Wink's going to do. He's not going to let that kid sit there and pick him apart in his own. He's going to we're going to try to destroy Mateer's rhythm, which we have to do. And he's going to try to fool him or give him different looks part of the snap And then after the snap, he's going to disguise defenses and play different defenses. So we have to get him off his rhythm. We can't let a quarterback of that caliber sit back there and pick us apart. By the same token, the one thing I want to say about our defense, they did score, a couple touchdowns on us, but I thought that was a well-coached team in a game. New Mexico team. I mean, they responded after we got ahead. And I think that quarterback, man, he hung in there like nobody because he took a beating. And so what I felt about our defense, and our defense has been this way for a while, we have great closing speed. And I don't know how many out edge rushers they have, but they're all good. And now we're going to lose a great one. We're going to lose our linebacker, Barnum. But holy cow, we have some guys that can come off the edge and disrupt the quarterback, and that's going to be necessary. Now we want to also we got to get some movement. I don't know if we got any sacks from our defensive linemen. Historically, we have. We've had such great defensive line play, but I think we're going to get that. So I like the front seven. I like our secondary. I like how they close on the ball, and they seem resilient. And I think we have wonderful coaching over on that side of the ball. So that's going to be a strength. And certainly they have to show up in Norman because we're going to go against, a capacity crowd. And there's not going to be a lot of Michigan rooters there. And it's going to be loud. And they're going to be excited. And we're going to have to get this quarterback off rhythm and get to him. And now we had 3 sacks.
We ended up with 3 sacks, but we were all over the quarterback.
How many times did he get hit? How many rushes do we have on the passer? How many times did we disrupt him? Several. And he did an extraordinary job, that quarterback. I have great talk about physical toughness. I have a lot of, I'm telling you, he just, on Sunday, he was sore. I can assure you that. And
did you see the video of the kid online running away from our linebacker? Have you seen it?
Well, I think he punched our guy. I think he punched Hausman. I saw him punch him. Then Hausman went after him, but he took off. To his credit,
he played it up. He wants to give him an Oscar. He played it up.
Well, you don't want to, when the whistle plays, the game's over. And if you retaliate in every way, you're going to get 15 yards and/or get thrown out. Yep. Now let's talk a minute about Barnum's hit.
I was going to say we had another sack, maybe even a sack fumble, a fumble to the house, but it could. But I mean, it
was not a malicious hit, but it was targeting under the rules.
So under the rules, this is targeting. When I coached last time when I was coaching in college football, we had targeting probably every other game. The kid would come in the second half. He'd have to sit the first half, or it would come at a critical part in the first half, and he'd be out for the rest of the game. And it was devastating. Like this to me, coach, seems like prehistoric rules. Like, you do this and you're out. I think it's there are targeting plays where there is intent. There are times where a guy comes off the edge or you don't see. I mean, when guys are coming across the middle or a safety comes over top on cover 2 and wipes somebody out, there's different types of targeting. I think it needs to be cleaned up. There needs to be a better. It's not fair to the kids because the definition is targeting, coach. But all he did is come off the edge and make a football play. Now, he is bigger.
He hit his head, but I'm going to tell you something. We have to protect the quarterbacks. They're vulnerable when they throw the ball. We don't want to annihilate these kids. So technically, it was targeting. And
it is targeting.
Under the rules, he goes out, then he sits away, then he sits out. Now, I don't think there was not intent there. Now, he was going to hit him hard. Now later on, Hausman did the same thing, and he went lower and hit him in the waist. One of the things they want to do, they're taught, and I can't remember if he was right-hander or right-hander. You want to go strip the right hand. You want to rush to that arm of the passer.
Yeah, backside.
Hopefully strip him. And so Barnum, who's a wonderful player and a handful, 6'4", 245, and runs like a deer and quick as hell and tough, but and a guy with passion who plays hard. It's unfortunate, but that's the rule. We have to defend defenseless quarterback. We don't want anybody hitting Bryce like that. And so,
well, then block the guy that's coming off the edge.
that's easy. When you come free. You have to make it so. You have to move down. your head down. So you hit him in the shoulder pads with your head. You cannot go helmet to helmet. Those are the rules. I don't necessarily like it when it's against our guys, but those are good rules. We have to protect these kids, and we have to protect vulnerable passers.
Okay.
So one of the things I want our guys to do, and there was a sack, we got to take pride in defending Bryce Underwood.
Well, they teach, in the NFL, they teach the long gator roll tackle.
Our offensive line needs to have great pride because they want to protect that guy, because that guy's a special guy. Not many people can throw the ball like that or are going to compete the way he did. And so we want to protect him. And I might add this about him. If he ever came out of there was times he could have run the ball, and he chose not to. But in the future, that'll be important because there were big, gigantic, cavernous areas there.
He could have kept it on one of Justice Hayes's. Honestly, he could have kept it and probably went. There was a seam for him on the read on Justice Hayes where he ended up blocking for him, Justin Haynes.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Now, I don't want him to hit the guy with his right shoulder. Just don't do that. Just put your hands up like this, Bryce. You don't have to just get in the guy's way. Do not get hurt, Bryce. Do not get hurt trying to level some New Mexico guy.
Everybody's texting me. Everybody's texting me. Oh, this kid's tough. You see him? I go, someone tell this kid. I hope they said stop. Don't ever do that again.
Don't ever throw the right arm into that guy, Bryce. You don't need to do that. Just get in front of him. That would have been good enough. But God bless him. It turned out okay.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot to learn from, a lot to teach. You make a lot of improvement. So preparation is going to be important this week. We have to come up with some defensive schemes to get this kid off his rhythm. Now, you remember against Ohio State, what we did is we created a dish. So we didn't let Howard out. And then when he came out, he got hit so hard he wasn't going to run the ball again. But a shallow dish. So sometimes we didn't let the guys. We just had them. So the quarterback could not bounce out and escape the pocket. We created a dish. We kept him in the pocket, and then of course we had those two great defensive linemen who didn't necessarily sack him, but they took their guy and they pushed him right into the back of Howard, so he had difficulty throwing the ball and getting it to that great receiver Smith and the other one Abuka. But so we're going to come up with a plan. So we have to have a good, and I'm sure there's nobody better than Link at this. One of the things we talked about is Patricia. I think when these guys do coach in the NFL and have coached at the highest level, they bring something back. And so they know how to negate a great passer. So we want to force, Oklahoma to do what they don't want to do.
Well, they know
what they probably don't want to do is sit there and slug it out with us. By the same token, we got to rush. We got to be patient. One thing Coach Harbaugh, and I know that Coach Sharon has patience, more patience than me sometimes. Do not keep pounding those 3, 4, 5 yards. And in the end, those will be big plays. And of course, we were able to break some big plays with Justin Haynes, and that'll continue to happen. And when we do that, that's going to be part of our football. So you got to maintain your toughness, and you want your offensive line to be tough and get off the ball. At the same time, when you throw the ball, you want to be able to go back there and throw with some sort of impunity. So they can't just lay back and rush on you. Now, one of the things we're going to be able to do against this kid is, we're going to be able to rush the passer. Now, we got to get pressure with 4. I don't like 3, but 4. At times, we need to get pressure with 4, drop into the zone, and not give them any void areas. Then there are other times where we're going to bring pressure, and it'll be up to Mateer to get to the void area, whatever we give up the flat, front flat, back flat. And then there'll be times, of course, when we're going to have to play man, and we're going to have to cover him. He distributed. Now, the wide receivers caught 19 balls from Mateer, and then the tight ends caught about 9. So he's going to throw to his receivers. He dumped the ball off a couple times. So he's going to throw the ball downfield. This kid throws the ball downfield. So we got to have our great effort from our defensive backfield. I don't know if Rod Moore is going to be back. They say he's 85%. It'll be great if we got our All-American or potential All-American safety back and captain. But our defensive backs cannot have mistakes. We had one glaring mistake on the trick play when we let the tight end run down the field and they threw the ball up. And to their great credit, and that's why I said they were well coached. He knew he wasn't come in here without a few things.
he had a good red zone package. He had plays that he believed he could score on, and then he had 5 probably good plays, and then he had that trick play. So he rolled the ball back. Everyone goes, "Oh no, they've practiced that. They roll that right to the guy." It's kind of like a jump
Well, we
test.
were going to run it, and it had been
Yeah,
prepared. And,
yeah, it was.
they were comfortable with it. They did a great job executing it.
Executed it beautifully, and then even
Now, when you say
the
red
next
zone,
time was the next red zone play was a play action, and it was executed great too. It wasn't necessarily a trick play, but it was very. I mean, it was a run formation. It looked good. So
I should mention we were 4 for 4 in the red zone. Now, I
yeah.
think we were 6 for 13 on fourth down. We could be a little better than that, but the high 40s, and the high 40s is not bad. Now, the one thing I did not like is we got to field punts. Shamaz, you got to catch the punt. And if he can't catch them, get somebody who can. We
So
cannot we cannot fumble punts or kickoffs. Now we had that young freshman, and I don't believe he'll ever fumble again. And if he does, then he shouldn't be allowed, shouldn't be entrusted with going back there and fielding the ball. But we got to catch kickoffs. Anytime you get the kickoff back past the 30, you're in wonderful shape. Because then if you fail to get a fourth down, you're still going to be able to punt and make them go the long way on your defense, which gives you a lot more opportunity to stop them. And by the same token, if you catch the punt and you get a decent return, that really can negate the field position, their effort to maintain field position, because this will be a game of field position. We got to we're going to realize where we are now. Defensively, we got to read the splits of the receivers. If you do that, you can tell where the formation, how far they are aligned, where they're going to throw the ball, or what they're going to do on the basis of some sort of tendencies. But that tells you that when the line comes in, the splits, they're going to protect the passer. I don't know how much play action we'll get from
hey,
them.
coach, they're going to throw the ball.
They're going to throw it.
Guess what? They're going to throw it. I like Baylock. I think he's a good running back. He had showed some patience. Honestly, he was nice. He held it. He could have hit it up right behind the guard and ran for 4 yards. And he stopped, cut inside, hit it up in there, and scored a touchdown. And it was beautiful to see. And that's the difference between a good back and a great back. But
I'm not certain how good Illinois State is.
No.
And I certainly wouldn't malign them, but I don't know if they're the caliber of New Mexico. But it really doesn't matter.
I don't.
We got to take what we did, and we got to correct mistakes. So remember what I always said. Bear Bryant. They went to Bear Bryant. And they said, "You're a great coach because you never make mistakes." He goes, "Oh no, I made plenty of mistakes." He said, "But the one thing I did is if I ever made a mistake, I never, ever, ever repeated a mistake." And that's how you have to coach the kids. When they make mistakes, the players, you got to encourage them never to make a mistake again. And then we got to continue to have competition within positions. Boy, all those young guys came in on defense, and they flew around, and they hit, and they tackled. And I was impressed by the caliber and the talent of some of those young players on defense. I think we're a fast defense. I think we have speed. I think we have team speed on both sides of the ball. I was really pleased with Klein, how he came along. The tight end, he was a blocking tight end. No one expected him. I said we're not going to get the same production out of the tight end that we had with Colston Lovelace. I have to eat those words because Klein showed he has real ability to catch the ball and get open.
He's our leading receiver, coach. Leading receiver, Klein.
Yeah, almost 100 yards in receptions and did a nice job. And the other guys did a nice job.
I thought Samaj Morgan, he should have caught the punts that he let bounce for more yards. Yeah. That's just not acceptable. But I thought as a receiver, he played better than he did in the previous. He looked like a more improved player. He didn't look like the same guy from last year. He looked improved to me. So that was.
Well, he's growing up. He's small. Yep. He's small. He's diminutive, but he's really evasive and gifted. And so they run him on a jet sweeps. He gets yards, keeps the defense honest. I do like to get the ball out to him in space. You get the ball out in space, he's going to give you positive yards. I thought McCauley looks good, the big guy. He's got
Shannon Godwin had a couple catches. He was our second leading receiver. He showed promise.
Goodwin, the other backup receiver, came in and made catches. So I think all in all, I think it was we won the game. They went ahead 14-0. It always happens during the course of the game. There are ebbs and flows. Sometimes you get a little bit we're going to just wipe these guys out, and then that's a fine coaching staff and those kids. A lot of those kids had come from Idaho where they won championships and competed against a team like Oregon. So they weren't going to fold, and they came back and played hard. At the same token, we kept the pressure on, and I thought we came out excited with passion. So the one thing is important in any endeavor, whether it be a business endeavor, a charitable effort, any sort of thing you do, you got to have a team, and everybody's got to have the right mentality. So culture is a word that's overused. I believe we have that at Michigan, and that was put in place by Jim, or not put in place. It was reignited. It was the same culture we had many, many years during all those winning years, all those championship years, where we're going to be tougher than the other teams. We're going to run like hell to the ball. We're going to tackle, and we're going to wrap up when we tackle. We're going to get everybody to the ball.
Gang
and we're going
tackle.
to block, and we're going to take pride. The offensive lines, we're not going to hit our quarterback. They're not going to hit him. But we're going to come off the ball. We're going to create running seams, and our running backs are going to hold on to the ball, break tackles, and run hard. And that was our mentality. And we're going to win the kicking game, and no turnovers. And so, we got to have come together, and I think we are. Winning sometimes brings you together. You get momentum. Sometimes it'll fool you, though. And then sometimes I've had the experience where losing brings you together.
Oh, yeah.
Adversity brings you together. So we have good leadership, great leadership. I think Bredesen is one of the best leaders ever in the history of Michigan. He's been for a couple years, and he's a great leader. And when you put him in there, he sure is productive and knocks people down and creates seams. And then, we have Rod Moore and, our edge rusher Moore and El Habib over there, our left guard. So we have good senior leadership, and they got to continue to lead. We will only be successful if our seniors have their greatest year of football, and they do that, and they lead, and they bring the young guys together. Because when a team comes together and you care about each other and you're a family, that's the recipe for success. And I will mention, I want to say this: we have to be balanced on offense, and there could be a tendency, because I want to see him throw all the time.
Yeah.
And I want him to run. I want to run for 4 or 5 yards and get the big plays. Like with a guy like this, it's just a pleasure to watch him go back there, and it's got to scare the hell out of the other people when he goes back there, because that is a rifle.
Yeah.
I've seen, the guys I've seen like that, Namath, when I played for the Chiefs, Namath, that ball came out, man. And JJ had a great release, and I've seen some guys with great releases. But holy cow, that ball comes out fast, and it's accurate, and he's got arm strength. So, I think he made good choices. So we got to protect him. We got to do things to maintain, dominance on the offensive defensive line, because the games are won up front. And we got to continue to do that in order to be successful as a team. We got to be physical. And we go into Norman. We got to be ready for a hostile crowd, hostile environment. We got to be ready for one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And we got to be ready to be our best. We cannot make mistakes. We can't fumble, kickoffs and give them easy scores. We can't do that. And we have to be prepared for anything defensively. And we cannot we have to get this guy off his rhythm. We got to rush him, make him reset his feet, take his eyes off the field. So he has to go, can't just stare downfield and sit back there with impunity. And we're going to do that because that's how our defense is made up. And I'll guarantee you that Martindale is going to get pressure on them. By the same token, their defensive coordinator is the head coach. His name is Venables. He was the guy who put together all those great defenses at Clemson. And so he's the head coach there. And this is the first year he started to call the defense again. So he's head coach, defensive coordinator.
I know. Venables and Sharon Moore. This is a coaching battle. He's on the defense. Sharon's on the offense. I mean, if you noticed last game, that was Sharon's football. I mean, we had 2 tights, 3 tights out there. We were motioning guys. We had our slot receiver blocking defensive ends and faxing and kicking that guy out. We had our quarterback blocking. I mean, he is a magician. I'm excited to see how he goes up against Venables, because, like you said, Venables is one of the great defensive coordinators of the past 10, 15 years. So it's going to be a heavyweight matchup. I mean, 2 undefeated
teams.
And
he's going home. Sharon's going home, and that's going to be exciting for him.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Coach. This is his homecoming. Also, they're using it as bulletin board material that he said that he's a Michigan man and wants to be remembered as a Michigan man and all this stuff. So Oklahoma's they're
I don't know if that kind of stuff is going to make their players play better, because Sharon is the head coach of Michigan
yeah.
and successful here, and he considers it his home. I don't think he was doing that at the expense of Oklahoma and meant no discourtesy to where he played. But he's not the head coach at Oklahoma. He's the head coach of Michigan, and that was the appropriate thing to say. Now, if they think that's going to fire up their kids, I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe not. I don't know if they care what the coach says.
But Coach, I think we started off strong against New Mexico. Like you said, we played Michigan football. We played within ourselves. They had two really good plays. There were some turnovers that got them a touchdown. A couple things went against us in the second half where they got some yards, special teams turnover. So some things happened where they got points, but we played a great game overall, consistent. We didn't blow them out like we thought we were going to after the first drive. Everyone goes, "Oh, this is going to be a fit. We're going to score 50 points." But we played consistent. I think it was a good game to get everybody in rhythm for Oklahoma, and that's like you said.
And the other thing I'm going to tell you, New Mexico had 50 yards rushing. You're not going to win. You have 50 yards. New Mexico.
Oh, no.
They had 50 yards rushing. Now, I'm going to tell you, Oklahoma only rushed for 100 yards. They're a passing team right now.
Yep.
And,
50 of those yards.
That's the ball. It hit him in the mouth.
50 of those yards, Coach, were – I said 50 of those yards, or 24 of those 50 yards were –
well, they got now. Now Oklahoma gained 100, but 24 were mature. The quarterback
with the quarterback.
Yeah, they had one design play where he ran it in for a touchdown.
He's athletic. He gets outside the set. He resets his feet. He looks downfield. I didn't get to watch the game, but I watched the highlights, some 12-minute reel on YouTube. Man, he looks good. Like I don't know the level of competition. Same with us versus New Mexico. There might be a little bit of a gap there. But to not play down their level, execute, throw that many touchdowns, that many yards.
Well, he was. I'm telling you, he had a tremendous career at Washington State.
Yeah,
he's a gifted player. He was a number one guy in the portal. I mean, everybody wanted him that needed a quarterback. Maybe it was Carson Beck, but Mateer was highly regarded. Is highly regarded passer at Washington State, and so he brings that with him. They made him captain, so he's a leader. I watched his interview. He's a good kid. He's got his feet on the ground, competitor. So they're going to be, it's Oklahoma, Michigan, two of the traditionally great schools.
We've only played them one other time. You were a coach, right? 1976.
And I'm going to tell you, we played them in the Orange Bowl, and that's when the Big 8 winner would go to the Orange Bowl, and we went down and played them, and that was as gifted. One of the most gifted teams in the history of college football. Anytime you have first of all, Leroy Selman unto himself, who arguably might be the greatest defensive lineman ever to play the game. And the Selman, he had brothers there playing with him. I mean, they had Joe Washington. They had really, really, and a tremendous coach in Switzer and his staff, who had some of the greatest teams and records in the history of the game. So they had a veteran team. We had a young team with a young quarterback named Rick Leach as a freshman. And so, we played a tremendous game against them. We held them, I think, to, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points, which is amazing. But we had difficulty moving against them. But they were gifted. So, it's Oklahoma. And Oklahoma has good players. Oklahoma is SEC school right now, I guess. Sorry for me to be correct.
It's crazy to me when they say, I was going to
Texas A&M and Texas and Oklahoma are SEC teams.
I was doing prep work, and then it go SEC. I go to the website, and it's SEC, and I go, oh yeah, this is Texas, this is SEC, Oklahoma, the Red River rivalries now in the SEC.
They're all going different. And the Big Ten announced, I think, in a few years they're going to add a couple more teams too. They just announced that. I don't know who they're looking at. I know Stanford lost to Hawaii 23-20, which wasn't good, and I always thought Stanford might be a fit in the conference. But that aside, this is a huge game for Michigan. Huge game. We have some older, talented players, but we have some younger players. So this is a great experience for them. We have guys that are national champions, but we have new guys. I like the way the new guys were flying around, particularly on defense. Those kids they put in there, they kept coming.
You
And
told me
that,
about TJ Guy, Coach. You said, "Hey, we got TJ." You said last week, TJ Guy, and then he makes that great play. Looks good in that number 4 coming off the edge. I'll tell you, it looks good.
we have good. We have some talented players. Um, uh, the defensive line, we cannot expect them to be like those two kids last year. But that doesn't mean they can't play great and achieve that kind of excellence over time. Because we had two of the most gifted guys, the most gifted tandem in the history, maybe certainly at Michigan and Big Ten college football. Those guys were fabulous, and that's why they were first round draft choices. But we got to count on Benny. We got to count on Trey, the two Treys,
And Payne,
TRE and
yeah,
TREY, to be great, and then the kids behind them. And we got to get those guys free. Rolander's going to go in there, who's number 30, my old number. So that's why I follow him. He's got to play great. Now, he does play well. He's a very active guy. And Hausman's got to lead us. In the secondary, we got to cover the guys.
Coach.
But we can't give him time. We got to hit him.
I
We
like
do
this.
the same thing we did to this kid from New Mexico. He got hit. He got hit regularly.
I like this kid, Curtis Mason, 6'5", free safety, Coach, and he hits people. Now he has to get his legs underneath him, get some more repetition, but I think he has the ability. I mean, he goes up. It's hard when he is playing over top and it's a jump ball. Man, I mean, he was contesting everything. He was in good position. He made it hard for those guys to catch the ball. Now he'll have to be in great position this week because I also saw Mateer. He put him on the outside. He put him across the middle. He made every throw in that first game that you can make. So I'm excited to see how our defensive backs match up against their wide receiving crew, but also the quarterback. But a lot of it is the defensive line and us getting pressure, Coach.
We cannot let him get his rhythm. We got to destroy the rhythm of their pass plays.
The one thing I worry about is they have a senior offensive line, Coach. This isn't. They have one sophomore, I think. I think everybody else is a redshirt senior or senior. They got to figure out a way to attack that young kid and also, get pressure with 4 so we can cover for a long time. Because
we're going to disguise. Wink's going to disguise. We cannot sit back there. We got to make him unsure of himself. That's one of the things Patricia did to Manning is, he was doing things with the coverage.
So Texas offensive line made multiple errors if you saw blocking the wrong guys, not picking up blitzes depending on where they're coming, delayed blitzes.
I think so you go up there to get a pre-snap alignment, and the defense lines up. Then you get some idea what they're going to do on the basis of how they're aligned. But I think they did a lot of different things or disguise. I know they did disguise coverages, and so he got fooled, and that's why he missed so many guys. And then the one thing you never know about these guys, they could have a sore shoulder, they could be hurt, but they could be out there playing hurt. I'm not saying that was the case, but that's the other thing we got to remember about these kids. You can never be too critical. And
hey, what about just playing it? What about playing your first game in the horseshoe 1 versus 2? I mean, sometimes you don't play your best game. I mean, it's people think that it never happens. I mean, there's tons of guys that have come out, had a bad first game and regrouped it, and so I'm not completely out on the kid. I think Texas is
he's a Manning. He's a Manning. But we don't really got to worry about Texas anymore. We got to worry about
Oklahoma,
who they play in the Red River Classic or whatever hell they call it. And that's a big game, but this is a huge game for us, and the nation's going to be watching.
What about Oklahoma's defense? Do you know? All I know is that they gave up.
They gave up 3 points against a team that was 14-3 at halftime, and then they didn't really score again. I mean, it was 17-3. They didn't really score again until the fourth quarter. They didn't do anything in the third quarter. Oklahoma, they didn't really move the ball. So their defense will be, so you got Venerables. And so the linebackers made all the hits. The top 5 tacklers I looked at were all their linebackers. But, they went ahead of this team and, who knows what they were playing. And then, and I'm not sure because I haven't seen the game, what Illinois State tried to do in order to come back. So perhaps they went back and decided to throw the ball. I don't know. But by what I can assure you, there's going to be kids, highly recruited kids, talented kids on that defense, and Venerable, who had some of the great defenses in the country, and that's why he's head coach at Oklahoma. When he was at Clemson with Dabo Sweeney, it's gonna figure out a way to defend us.
Well, they're senior and
We're gonna have
junior.
to be
They're
prepared.
all seniors and juniors on defense, Coach. All seniors and juniors.
So they're veteran guys,
Yeah.
and they've been around, and there's a new feeling of optimism because of Mateer there. They've had disappointing seasons there. He hasn't set the world on fire since he's been the head coach, but they anticipate this is going to be a big year for them. They're rated in the top. I don't know what they are, 12. I don't know who knows what they are today, but they're rated in the top 20, and probably deservedly so. So we got to be prepared to play a great team, a great quarterback that's well coached, and we got to be at our best, and we cannot make mistakes. We got to improve on them. We got to look at the mistakes we made this week.
Well, what do you? I mean, Coach, all that's I get it, but you've played in these games? You coached in a Michigan Oklahoma game. Okay, what's the difference between coaching in a game at the end of the season? Now this is week 2. Everybody's undefeated. You still don't really know where you're. Like, what is this? What is the vibe going into this game for you as a coach? What are you trying to get the kids to understand? Are you getting them into the rhythm of season? Is it the biggest game ever? Is it just, hey, brick by brick? What is your message when you kind of you win your first game, everybody's going, but you don't want to get too high? Where do you go? What do you tell the kids? What do you tell your position group?
I would have tough, aggressive practices this week.
Yep.
I would give them a lot to digest. I would be very critical of the mistakes they made. First thing you do is you go through game mistakes. I would get those corrected, and you walk through those. Here's the mistakes you made on Monday. Today they're doing that, and then you got to have some great preparation. The scout team's got to be excellent. We got to get prepared for a gifted thrower and a gifted team across the board, and so we got to have tough, aggressive preparation.
Scout team quarterback coach is going to be big this week. He needs to give a great look versus defense. I mean, to get them ready to see these past conference. The kid that's back there for us, that's right. Hey, it might be Jaden Daniels. Who knows who it might be our kid Davis Warren.
One thing I was a little that I would have hoped had happened is that we got our second team. I think it was Jaden Davis, some reps.
Yeah,
in that game. Our second team quarterback. But the complexion of the game didn't lend itself to that. But I would have hoped that we, get some experience for those guys, so they're accustomed to coming in, and when they come in when we need them, they're prepared and they've had some game experience. But that aside, you want to look at that game. You want to critique it as a staff too. What do we do good as a staff? What do we do bad as a staff? Our play calling, I thought Chip Lindsey was good, but he sort of went away from the run a little bit after we dominated him for 2 straight touchdowns. And I hope that he has. No, we were 50-50. We were exactly 50-50. And a balance is exactly where you want to be. Now, historically, I told you when Michigan wins, we've been 55% rush, 45% pass. So people have to defend the run against Michigan. And if you don't, then we're going to run down your throat. And if you do, and you bring that 8-man into the box, then we have a kid right now that can throw it past you.
Yep.
And we can hit big plays. And we can get to open receivers. And we have a group of gifted, developing receiver core with a real good tight end. So that we got to take away what they do well. And we know what they do well. Mateer's a thrower and a passer, and we got to hit them. And we got to make them look around. Now, I go back to that Super Bowl. One of the greatest quarterbacks in history is a guy named Patrick Mahomes. But those guys, those Eagles, that defensive line, those 4 guys, they won that game. They hit him and they hit him and they hit him. And then, of course, the Eagles quarterback played very well. So if we can play great defense and our quarterback plays well and we run the ball and we stay true to our culture and who we are, we're going to be fine. But we got to win the kicking game. No mistakes on the kicking game. No mistakes.
Zavada, baby, still 100%. 2 for 2.
Well, Zavada, I was hoping he'd go kick one of the long ones when he chose to punt. because I heard he was hitting them from 70 easily before the game. And he's a remarkable kicker, and he's money. He's money in the bank, that guy. So I
So
love him. And I think we punted well. Now, they had no returns to speak of 2 yards, but we punted for a 42-yard net
we
average. We got
covered.
over 38.
That means we covered, coach, too, which
Yeah.
that's huge. If we
Yeah.
can cover, man, if we can punt and cover, we can get guys to make mistakes, man.
So there's 3 phases of football. We got to win every one of them. And then we got to coach well in this game. We got to make good halftime adjustments. So when you have close games, a lot of times what you do at halftime that will determine the outcome. If you're able to recognize what they're doing to defense you or what you need to stop them by changing, that can determine the outcome. So we got to coach.
I don't feel nervous going into this game like maybe years past. It's kind of like how I felt with Notre Dame going into the game. Our programs are in a good spot. We've played in a lot of these type of games lately. Kids understand.
I like our team.
Yeah.
I like our team. And they might not be, and I told people, this might not be the 23 national championship team where I don't know how many guys were drafted. And, some of the guys that stuck around, Lovelace and, the 2 tackles would have been drafted. But there's a lot of really good players out there, a lot of talented players. I like our quarterback. Now, we got to remember he's a freshman. And as good and as gifted as he is, we cannot ask him to do too much or put him in vulnerable positions. We got to play within ourselves. He's got to play within the scheme of the offense and make good decisions and good plays. And then we got to sustain on offensive line. We got to be consistent on our offensive line and knock them off the ball. Knock them off the ball. Then we get those linebackers coming up with run action. That guy can throw those intermediate routes. And, I think our average reception was like 12 yards. That didn't happen. I think 8 total yards of all the attempts. And that never happened last year. We were at 6 or 7 average completion yards. So that already we've exceeded last year. So we have a much better offense. We have a quarterback. We got a quarterback. We know that now. Let's take good care of him. Let's get him along. Let's keep him along, though. Let's keep developing him. He's not Tom Brady yet. He's got the potential to be something really, really special. He's not J.J. McCarthy yet, but he's a young guy with great talent, and I like him. I like his leadership. I like how he reacts in a game. I like how he's self-critical and he wants to play well and has passion and is a good leader and all that good stuff. Now, this is a different era. You have all this entourage. They all got agents. They all got family and all that stuff. If the teams that are going to win are going to have to eliminate those distractions. They're not going to, we can't have things in the locker room where you're getting paid this and I'm not getting paid as much. Teams that are going to get that will fall apart and not be successful. We have to put all that aside and be part of a team. We have to keep the agents and all the entourage and all those guys out. When I say that doesn't mean you can't interact with them outside the building, but when you're in there, you're a teammate. You care about Michigan. You care about your teammates. You care about being excellent. And you pay attention to the little things and get better as a player. And that's the challenge to everybody. Get better as an individual. Get better as a team. Get better, get better, get better. Learn from what you did last week. So this is a unique situation for coaches. They got to manage a lot more with these kids right now. And they're just young kids. And all of a sudden, some guys are millionaires. Some guys aren't. You go out there and you be your best. Forget about all that. Forget about all that. That'll take care of itself, I guess. There's always inequities in life, but you play. You play for your teammate. You play together, and don't listen to whatever else is out there. Do not listen to social media. You pay attention to what you're doing, and you play as a team, and you care about your teammates.
I like what Coach Prime says. He says, I don't care about NIL. I'm trying to get you to NFL. That's where you get your real money. He goes, if you get NIL money, great. That's good for you. But I'm not concentrating. I'm concentrating on developing you and making you an NFL player and a man. And that's why Coach Prime's great.
None of them are in the NFL. So let's get better. They're students. They're going to class, hopefully. Not too many Zoom classes. There's a lot of people. Some of the schools, they never go on campus. They take Zoom classes. But I don't know if that's the best thing. Not that you can't learn that way, apparently. But let's forget about all the external stuff. Let's forget about whether you're good or bad or who critiqued you, who didn't. You just come back. You care about your teammate. You pay attention to what you're doing. You practice hard. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Look at film. Look at film. Know what you're doing. Take care of the small things. Care about detail. Understand what your scheme is. Understand what your responsibility is, and go to work and execute. Execute and be a great player, and then be a great teammate. That's what we got to do, and that's the challenge these coaches have. And I know they're preaching the same thing I am, and it can't be easy. Because when you're a young guy, young guys, one of the things you are as young guys, you make mistakes, you don't understand everything about how the world works. But if you come together as a team, you subordinate yourself in a bigger cause, it's going to result in victory. So I talked about the mentality of the team. Our team has to have the right mentality. Every team has to have the right mentality to work. You got to have the it factor. What that is hard to define, but that's when everybody comes together, everybody cares about each other, everybody does a great job of what they do, and they play their very best, and the leaders lead their very best. And so that's what we need.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think that we got it, Coach. I think we got the it factor. Everybody's coming together. I think we're in a good place. I don't think the moment is too big for us in Norman. I think we're going to show up and play a great game. We'll see how the chips fall on Saturday, which is going to be
a wonderful challenge. It's a wonderful challenge.
It's what it's all about. I mean, college football, I think, is in a great place. All the matchups that we're getting cross conferences and across the country, and we're getting them early, and then we get them. Then we get them again in the end of the year with the actual playoff system. I really love where college football is right now. It makes it fun to watch.
We are ambitious to win the title, but I'm going to repeat: Notre Dame's in a difficult position right now with one loss to a wonderful team. Because they're going. I told you they got A&M and USC, and then these other teams. You're going to get somebody Northern Illinois, whoever they will rise up and give them a heck of a game. And two losses. It's going to be very difficult to get in. Doesn't mean you can't. But so, this game at Oklahoma is a big game. We want to win the title. They're not in the conference, but, we got to beat Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
We don't want to. We can't stumble more than once or twice, maybe. But you're right on the edge. If you stumble twice, you got to have things happen your way. So we're in control of our own destiny. So it's the old deal. Let's go in there and get the first down. Then let's go in there and get the first stop. And then we go from there. But let's hit them hard. Let's play with passion. Let's come after him. Let's disrupt this quarterback. Let's make him earn it. And then let's see how we're going to do. Kick the ball. Kicking. No fumbles, no turnovers. I think we're -1 right now. We got to get positive in our turnover ratio because we kicked that one. The one young freshman let the ball get out here when he's a kickoff. The ball is an important possession. You're entrusted in it, and you do not fumble. Get leverage on the ball, and know that when you're breaking tackles, the ball can't come out from your body when you're struggling, because that's when the ball comes out and the guys come in and strip you. So second effort almost sometimes can result in a turnover. So be patient. And the same thing with Bryce. You don't have to, you don't have to complete every ball. When it comes, throw the ball out of bounds, and then live to play again. And even if it's third down and nobody's open, don't force it in there. Throw the ball out, throw the ball away, and then we'll punt, and then we'll play defense, and then we'll get the ball back. So let's play within ourselves. Let's play smart, and let's play aggressive.
Yeah, we're gonna do all those things, Coach. And I mean, I know I can never get you to give me your prediction, or I know you always say good things to the kids, but I think we're going to go in. We're going to win. I think we're going to win 34-28 is that's what I'm calling, Coach. So we'll see.
All right, I'll buy that. But if we can win by 1, now I think we're an underdog going in there.
Yeah.
So if we can win by 1, I'll be happy. Now, the big thing is how we conduct ourselves. Be Michigan. Conduct yourselves as gentlemen. Play within the rules. Play hard, but when the whistle blows, it's over. They get back in, go again. Hard. Give a great account of yourself. And then no matter what, during the course of this game, there'll come times probably where it appears like, things are going against us, but come back. So boys say we're going to lose this game 13 times, but we're going to win it 14. So we're going to prevail, and we're going to persevere. And that's what we have to do. And, we have the right. I like these kids. From what I see, I like Sharon. I like our coaches. That's we've been a championship team now for a while. And those guys are all part of it. And so play like a champion and be at your best. And so this intersectional rivalry will have the nation looking at it. It'll be at 8:30 our time, 6:30 out there Mountain Time or wherever they are. Maybe they're, I don't know if they're Central Time or Mountain Time. 7:30 here, 6:30 out there, and it'll be a great contest. And it'll be exciting to watch, and I really can't wait. But I'm excited about our team. We got a quarterback, brother, but let's take care of him. And let's make him be what he can be, but not ask him to be Joe Montana or Tom Brady.
Let him be a freshman. Let him be a freshman.
Let him be a freshman. If he makes a mistake, let him rebound. And then true with all of them. That's true with all of them. Overcome the adversity that happens during the course of the game and prevail. It's a game of will. Strongest will, hardest hitters.
Amen to that. No, and if you don't agree, if you don't think Michigan's going to win, leave a comment. If you've made us with us this far, make sure you like it.
Michigan's going to win. I disagree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're going to play the game and find out. That's the wonderful thing about it. And the great thing about sports is everybody's an expert, and everybody's opinion has validity. And so we respect that. We're Michigan guys, so we're with our guys. We have a bias. We admit to it, and we don't apologize for it. And we also respect your bias. We respect the other schools, Michigan State and Ohio State and their fans, and we know their passion, and that's what's wonderful. That's what makes it great.
Well, give us your prediction. Let us know what you think.
Oh man, my prediction: blue. Michigan's going to play well, and we're going to prevail.
Amen to that. Amen.
And hopefully we can have a big margin, but it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game.
I think Bryce will
decided by a field goal or a touchdown.
I think Bryce Underwood's going to tear up Norman, Oklahoma. So that's what
I'm with you. I'm for you, but don't. The second game is important. He had a great first game, and now he's going to build on that.
No, I mean I think our running game. Honestly, Coach, I think our running game is what's going to. Like I said, I want to run the ball against these guys. If they gave up 4 yards last week, I want 6 yards of carry.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to you. Coach Schembeck used to say, I run the ball because I practice against my defense. And if my defense can stop the run, then I'm probably going to win because I'm going to be able to run it, and they're going to stop the run. And we'll force the other teams into being one-dimensional. One of the things that happens when you're a passing team, you're playing against your own defense. So what they're used to, you're passing all the time. So when you play a running team, and that's, I'm sure, I got to believe that a lot of their preparation has been pass pro and protected this kid and throwing the ball a lot. You're not used to somebody coming off the ball and hitting you in the mouth and running it down your throat. And when that happens, you break their back. So one thing about a team that runs, you want to be balanced. You want to be able to throw when you can. But you also want to physically prevail upon the other team. And those 3-4 yard rushes, sometimes towards the third and fourth quarter, they're 8, 9, 10. And you wear them down, much like we did with USC last year when we couldn't throw the ball across the street. So they're not accustomed to stopping a running team. They're not, because they practice against themselves, preparing for this season. So we'll see how they do.
I think you're spot on with that, Coach. I'm excited. I really appreciate you getting with me this week. We'll see if we get some more likes. We picked up some
comments. Let's get some comments. Let's some controversy. We want controversy.
We want controversy. We got some subscribers.
We can take criticism. We've been getting it our whole life.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Coach. Thanks for your time, man. Have a great day.
All right, man. Talk. Thank you.
Bye.